Hi guys, I hope you're good and excited for our lesson today. We will be doing something quite special today, and that is polynomials. And under polynomials, we'll be specifically looking at the multiplication of a binomial by another binomial. Okay, so this is quite interesting, and I would like you to actually grab a pen and paper because this is going to be an exciting lesson for you. So guys, going to our first part of the lesson today, we are looking at the introduction. And here, this is what we are mostly going to encounter with, where you're going to have two binomials. So two binomials means that you have two terms, okay? So it means you have two terms multiplying each other, right? So you're multiplying this first binomial and you have to multiply it with the other binomial that you see on the other side. So this is what we do. So what the product that we find from multiplying binomials by other binomials, we also call it an expansion. So we can give you this problem and say simplify, or we can simply say expand. So that is the same thing. So it simply means multiply the first binomial by the second binomial. So here are the rules of multiplying binomials by binomials. So you need to first look into these arrows that I have there in blue. So you multiply the first term there with the first term also on the other side. So I will write numbers on this arrow. So it means you need to multiply this term with that term there. So it means you multiply ax multiplied by cx. So that is the first thing that you do. And then the second part is also multiplying the first part with the second part of your of the second binomial. So it means you're multiplying ax by d. Okay, so that is what we did on the first part. And then you also now have to do the same thing again for the second part. Let me just clear it for you so that you can see properly. So then now on the second part, now you need to multiply. You look at the second value. So the second value on the first binomial is b, and you have to multiply it by cx. So you're going to multiply b by cx. Okay, so you multiply b by cx, and then the last part you need to multiply b by d. So you multiply b and d. So that is how you simplify your binomials. However, guys, as you can see now, we're just using alphabet, right? And it looks a bit complicated for you. That is why I've prepared a few examples that you will need to use in order to understand how do you actually multiply binomials, or how do you actually get this type of questions, because you will never get them like this. So this was just for a representation of the rule. Okay, so now let's go to the first example. So I have the prepared for you a binomial that I need to multiply with another binomial. So as we have, let me just write the question for you. So I have 3x minus 2 multiplied by 5x plus 8. So that is what we have at this point. And the first thing that you do, you multiply the first part with the first part on the other bracket. So you multiply 3 and 5, you get 15, and you multiply x and x, you are going to get x squared. So that is what you do first. So you multiply the first part with the first part. However, you need to also multiply the first part of the first binomial with the second part of the other binomial. So you're multiplying 3x and 8. So you're going to have plus, what is 3 multiplied by 8? You are going to have 24. So 24x is your answer. And then now, since you are done working with the first part, you look for the second term there. Now the second term is negative 2. So you have to say negative 2 multiplied by 5x. Let me just use a different pen. Negative 2 has to multiply the 5x. So you're going to have negative 10x. And you now also multiply the negative 2 again with 8. So negative 2 multiplied by 8, we are going to have a negative 16. Now, your duty, once you have managed to multiply values, you need to look for like terms. So if we look at what we have in front of us, like terms should be terms that have things in common. So the same variables, right? So it must have the same variables. So if we look at 15x squared, do we have any value with x? Yes, we do have two values with x, but you do not have any other value with x squared, right? So if we don't have any other value with x squared, we drop it as it is, so we don't use this one. However, look at 24x and negative 10x. Those are like terms because their highest exponent in both those values is 1. So you have 24 minus 10x, right? Then you're going to get, you're going to be left with plus 14x. You look at negative 16. Do I have a like term for negative 16? No, because I do not have any other value that does not have x. So all of these values that I have, they have x next to them. So only 16 remains. So if I don't have anything, guys, I'm going to emphasize this again. So if you do not have any value that works with it, you just drop it as it is. You don't do anything to it, okay? So this is what we're going to do even here. We are going to drop negative 16 as it is. So this is what you have as your conclusion. So that is your answer. All right. And I also have another example for you. And I'm going to emphasize this again. If you see a question, pause the video, write it down, try to do it, and then you will come and check the answers afterwards. Okay. So now let's try to do this one together. So we have to expand the following product: 4b plus 8, and we also have another 4b minus 4. So let's rewrite the equation. So I have 4b plus 8, and I have 4b minus 4. So as the rules stand, you must multiply the first term with the first term of that side. So it's 4 times 4, 16. b multiplied by b, it's b squared. And we are going to have 4 again. That value is going to multiply the second part. So you have 4b multiplied by negative 4, which is a negative 16b. And now you check. Now I have to multiply the second part. So it is 8 multiplied by what? We are multiplying 8 by 4b. And you're going to get a 32b, right? So it's 32b, and you have 8 multiplied by 4. You're multiplying that last term there. 8 multiplied by 4, you are going to get negative. Remember, there's a negative 4 there, so you're going to get a negative 32. So once you have a negative 32 like that, you are done expanding. However, you need to check for like terms. Always check for like terms. Okay, always. So now we check 16b squared. Do I have anything that says b squared on the line? No. So I just drop it as it is. So this is going to be 16b squared. And negative 16b and 32b, those are like terms because they both have the highest exponent as 1. So this is going to be plus 32, plus 16. This is going to be plus 16b. And I also check for 32. Do I have any other like term for 32? No. So I drop 32 as it is. So you're going to have minus 32. So there you have your answer. So guys, do you see how easy it is to work around with these values? Multiply the first term with the first term that side, and multiply the first term with the second term, and you repeat the process with now the second term of the first binomial. That's how you do it. Okay, so now let's do one more example and we wrap it up. Okay, now I have another example there. Simplify. So as you can see, in all the examples that I gave you different terminologies, right? So I gave you different terms: expand, find a product, and now this one says simplify. It all means the same thing. That's why I brought you these different questions, so that you can also see and also be exposed to how you are asked. So you are all asked the same thing here. Okay, guys? So yeah, now let's move on from that and try to simplify. So I have y multiplied by that y there, and I have to multiply y again with -4. But then I have to repeat the same process. So it means I need to multiply 3 and y, and also multiply again 3 and -4. Now let's do it, guys. So I always prefer to write my equation so that I can see things clearly. Now this is what we have. So we multiply the first value with the first value that side, you have y squared. You multiply the first value again with the second value on the other side, you have -4y. You multiply again this value with the first value that side. So you're going to find yourself with plus 3y. And you multiply again with the same value to the last one. So you're going to have 3 and 4, that is going to give you a -12. So once you have -12 like that, it means you check for like terms. Check for like terms. Okay, that is why it says simplify. So it means put it in the simplest form, because if you leave it with like terms still there, it means you haven't simplified it. Okay, so simplifying means just put it in the easiest form ever. All right, so now this is what you have. Y squared, do I have any like term for y squared? No, so I drop y squared as it is, so I'll just have y squared today. And I look for 4y and 3y. -4y plus 3y, that is going to be a -y, because you have a -4 plus a 3, that gives you -1. So that is why we write -y only. And we check for -12. Do I have any like term for -12? No, I don't have any value that looks like that, so I drop -12 as it is. I will have -12 there, and that is how you get your answer. So guys, this is how you simplify. Please go back to these questions, pause the videos, practice again and again and again. You can even create your own questions. Trust me, you will enjoy doing this. All right, so guys, thank you for joining me on today's lesson, and I will definitely see you on the next one.